Okay, welcome to Mrs. Young's guided notes video. Please follow along on your paper and make sure you are asking questions if you don't understand something. But you're going to start on your paper with your name. So I'm going to write in red today, but I would write Mrs. Young, for example. And then put your class period so we don't get our notes mixed up with other classes. So our learning target is I can explain the meaning of area. The meaning of area. So area, you probably know area as with shapes like a square. For example, the area of a square that is 3 by 3. I'm gonna demonstrate. If the area of a square that is 3 feet, for example, by 3 feet is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the area would be 9, let's say, feet squared or square feet. One way we do it is just to multiply the base times the height. But we're going to go more into that. There's way more to it. But that's the idea of area. So I'm going to erase. Okay. So we've got area. Okay, so in this first activity, in our kind of warm-up activity, it says, in your pattern, which shape covers more of the plane? The blue rhombus, the red trapezoid, or the green triangle? So we have to figure out which one do we think covers the same area. So hopefully we did some of this in class. You kind of have to be able to put the different shapes together. So if you can notice, if you put 2 of the red trapezoids together, then it would form 3 of these blue. So there's a bunch of different strategies. Hopefully you did it in class, but you can come up with your own. But in the end, hopefully you got some type of answer. It ends up being the red trapezoid because it just covers more space. And area is talking about the space that a thing or a shape covers. Okay? So it was the red trapezoid, but that should be done in class. Okay, moving on to the next one. Activity 1. Thank you for your patience as I'm learning this new program. So activity number 1 says draw 2 shapes that have an area of 10 square units. So area is the number of these little squares. So one of these squares equals 1 square unit, okay? So we need to draw a shape that has 10 of them. So this obviously isn't our shape. But so I'm gonna draw one shape over here. I might count, I know, for example, 2 times 5 equals 10. So I might do a rectangle that is 2 squares by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. And you can count there if you're not sure, but since it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, this would be an example of a shape that has 10 square units or units squared. Another one you could do is, I know, for example, 1 times 10 equals 10. So I'm going to count 10 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I could do a rectangle, a really long rectangle that is 1 by 10. And I know that's 10 square units, but there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And it doesn't have to be a rectangle. So technically you could do a different shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, for example. So if that one has 10 squares, I could draw a shape like this. Kind of looks like Utah. Sorry for my wiggly pen. But as long as your shape is closed and has 10 square units, these are going to be mine. Okay? You can do your own or do that, but regardless, that's how you would do it. Okay, moving on to activity number 2. So find the area of the polygon. So a polygon is a many-sided shape. So it has a lot of different sides. A many-sided shape can really even just be a triangle. A triangle is a polygon, a square is a polygon. It's just a shape that is closed and has more than two sides. The smallest sides could be a triangle. So it says find the area of this polygon. So I can't find the area of this polygon until I split it up. So one thing I know about rectangles, to find the area, like for this rectangle, I did 2 by 5. So I multiplied 2 times 5, and the area of it was 10 units squared. This one was 1 by 10, so I multiplied 1 times 10, and it gave me 10 units squared. So I know if I can find a rectangle, I can find the area of the figure. So I'm going to split this one up and see if I can find the dimensions. So you can pause it and try to do it on your own, or you can follow along on the video. So now I'm splitting it up into 3 different rectangles, if you notice here. And I just have to find the dimensions. So I'm going to start with this first one. This first one, if I redraw it, is 5 by 3. So if I put this on the grid, I would just multiply 3 times 5, or I could draw it out and count if I wanted to. Sorry, that was a little bit too many, not that one. So 3 by 5, and that would give me 15 squares, 15 units squared. So I'm going to label this one 15 units squared. That's part of the area, but it's not the full area. We still have this guy in the middle. So I'm going to use a different color for this one. Okay, so this one looks like this side is 3. So I have to find out what the height is. So I know this part is 3 and this part is 2. So if I added the different parts, 3 and 2, that would give me the height of 5. So notice I used part of what I know here, and then I know this 2, and so I add that to the 3. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So the height of that rectangle is 5. So if I redrew that triangle or that rectangle, it would be 3 by 5. Which I could put on the grid, and I could count the squares, or I can just do 3 times 5, which is also 15 units squared. So I know this one's 15 units squared. So I have 15 so far and 15, and then I'm going to get one more. And this one looks like, I'm looking at this kind of skinny rectangle, is 2 by 6. So if I redrew this one, it's 2 by 6. I could draw the grid. So that side's 2 and this side's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or I could count the squares, or you can just do 2 times 6, which is 12 units squared. So this one's 12 units squared. So I'm going to combine all the areas I know. So since I found the area of all the parts, I'm going to add them up. So I have 15 plus 15 plus 12. So I know 15 plus 15 is 30. And then 30 plus 12, and you can write it out if you need to. 1 plus 3 plus 1, 42. So the area of that polygon is 42 units squared. Okay? So write it down, pause it, rewind, whatever parts you didn't understand. Okay, going back here. And we're going to go to this next part. Oh, okay, so I already did this one. So we're just going to do the cool down. So nice. So we're just cruising on here. You can pause the video and do the cool down on your own, or you're welcome to get help with the video if you would like, but check your answer with the video regardless. So think about your work today and write your best definition of area. So area is how many square units there are in a shape. So how many little 1 unit squares are there in the shape? The space that it covers. So write that definition in your own words. And there should be a definition on your paper or up on the board as well. And then it says draw 2 shapes that do not have the same area. So for example, you could draw 2 different rectangles and then just label the dimensions. If they do not have the same area, they're going to have different dimensions, or one will have more square units. But please do the cool down on your own and then show Mrs. Young that you're done, and then you could start on the practice problems. So